We continue our way because ahead we'll have a unique meeting with a girl who is literally one in a billion. Guide Miguel was kept his promise and arranged a meeting on the river with the surviving wife of murdered Kaigo. This girl is the only person who survived after meeting uncontacted troops. And now she can shed light on the secrets of uncontacted vow running. Please try to remember that day. My husband and I were going down the river. Our boat suddenly ran aground and stopped, and a man with a spear immediately ran to the bank. He threw the spear at me, but I dodged. Kaigo jumped up, and at that moment a spear flew past his head. How many people there were? On the bank closer to us, there were Kue, Minua, and Uniwa, and on the other bank there was one more, Kanya. There were 4 of them. How do you know the names of uncontacted people and murders of your husband? They called each other by names. Kue was the chief among them. Inuya and Minua attacked me and wounded my leg and hip, and Kanya attacked my husband from the other bank. What was their approximate age? Kue was about 48-50. 2 young boys were 18-25, and it was evident that young people behaved more aggressively. Which of you was hit by the first spear? Me, into leg. Where were you at that moment? I was in the water. You jumped out of the canoe when the attack started. Yes, I jumped out, I grabbed a snack. Inua told the chiefman, "Look, what a woman, I will take her as my wife." But the chieftain said, "Don't do it, we've already injured her. She's strong and can take revenge on you later." And what was doing Kaigo at that moment? He jumped in the water and quickly swam to the other bank. He was fleeing from those who were near us, but he didn't notice the man on the other side of the river. The husband was pierced with a spear and was held. I ran through the bank. Blood was everywhere. I managed to jump into the boat, start the engine, and go away. We were told that Kaigo was hit by 27 spears, so you didn't see other hits except the first one. I saw only several first hits. Did you realize at that moment that he wouldn't survive and be saved? I realized when I was going away, my husband shouted after, "Come back for my body!" Kaigo said, "See you in another world. Death will join us." Death will join us. It's hard to listen. Perhaps you are the only person today who can tell how contemporary uncontacted Indians look like. Only you saw him at close range. You miraculously survived. What a day! I remember only some details. Kanya, who killed my husband, had short hair, shoulder length. The rest had longer hair below the shoulders. Kue was bearded, thicker than the rest, and had large discs in his ears. The rest were without beards, thinner and without discs. They looked more muscular and stronger than we are. They had cleaner skin, but legs were all in wounds and scratches because they hunt much in the forest. It's an amazing situation. You saw how your husband was being killed. You know the names of the murderers. You remember their faces. Have you forgiven them or not? I haven't. If I were uncontacted like them, I would like to take revenge. Did you have any foreboding? Shortly before the attack, Kaigo had a dream that he was stuck with 100 small arrows. All the blood flowed out and only a skeleton remained. His parents told about it. They told that due to the number of blows with spears, all the blood actually leaked out of him. He seemed to foresee his future. We, Vaurani, pay great attention to dreams. We think that with the help of dreams, the soul shows what will happen to the body in future. 5 days before the attack, I had a nightmare about my grandfather who was killed by uncontacted tribes in 2013. I dreamed that he came to me with a bloody leg, called to go with him, and I decided that this was a very bad sign. It's horrible, your grandfather was also killed by uncontacted tribes. Why? We think that grandfather communicated with Taraminani. They asked him to bring for marriage girls from our clan, and they would give their instead. Grandfather didn't fulfill the agreement, and that's why he was killed. It's a sensational information. Tarominani and Tagueri clans are considered uncontacted because they hide from others in the distant jungle, avoiding any contacts. The one who decides to step on their territory and contact with them risks his life. And the fact that they themselves looked for mating with strangers was out of the question, at least till now. You are the first person who tells me about the contacts between contacted and uncontacted Vaurani. Where did you get this information? Did your grandfather just tell you? Actually, my grandfather lived a bit away from the settlement. He had an uncut hut. He didn't wear clothes. He told people of our community that sometimes uncontacted came to him. Nobody believed him. We thought, you never know what the old man fantasizes, and only after his death everybody believed that the grandfather communicated with uncontacted. It's a unique information. It seems that the grandfather whose murder was described in all media was the only one who not only encouraged them, but even conducted some business and negotiations. According to his stories, two guys with frizzy bangs and long hair on the sides, with discs in the ears, but without clothes came to him. They had only comma strings, which are used by Vaurani to tie up penises. They saw knives at grandfather's home and asked what it was. He explained that with the help of it, we could make arrows and many other useful things. Then those guys asked to lend them this tool for some time. The grandfather gave them a knife and a sharpener. How many contacts were between your grandfather and those people? They came 3 times. At the 4th time, they killed him. How did the grandfather die? He and his wife were speared literally in 150 meters from our settlement. They threw 10 spears, 4 or 5 hit them. His wife was wounded. She died not immediately. A spear hit the lung. She breathed hard and while she was conscious repeated, "They will kill us. They will kill all of us." She was dying with this phrase on her lips. When people came, she briefly came to her senses and told how it had happened. What was your grandfather's name? His name was Ompore, and his wife's Bugine. Our guide Miguel was among those who had run to the place of elders Ompore's murder. I left my studies, came here and saw what had happened. We tried to save the woman, but we failed. These events became the reason of the intertribal war. Just after this, the Vaurani attacked uncontacted to take revenge for the elder. Then everybody was killed. Only 2 little girls were kept alive. Do you remember, friends? Puzzle has formed. Now it's clear why the mass attack began in 2013. Luciana's relatives, Ompore and Bugane, are those elders due to whom contemporary Vaurani returned to the ancestral traditions. And according to the lower blood feud, they slaughtered the entire Tarominani settlement. Tell the details of the story. Ompore's children and grandchildren gathered and were hunting down uncontacted for weeks. Did you take part in that operation? No, I didn't. I wasn't finishing my studies and I didn't want to lose my future. How many people did take revenge, and how many uncontacted did they kill? 13 people went looking for uncontacted, and they killed about 60 people, men, women and children. Only one sensation for today. All mass media reported about at least 20 killed, but Miguel says the number is 3 times more. For the Vaurani people, it's incredibly much. Most explorers consider that only 20 Tagueri people remained in the jungle of Ecuador and about 200 Tarominani people. If these calculations are correct, then the attack of 2013 could wipe out the entire tribe. If the group of the contacted Vaurani could find the uncontacted ones, so it's physically possible to find them. Vaurani, after having attacked, leave their home and burn it to cover their tracks. That's why the uncontacted were being looked for during a long time, and now their settlements look completely different. If earlier the territory was rid and house was put in the center, now they hide it under the large tree. After 2 weeks, they were finally found. What do they look like? How do they live? What is the difference between them and the Vaurani of your type? The uncontacted looked stronger. They evidently work physically all the time. They were sitting around the fire and singing. It was about 4 or 5 p.m., but they decided to attack when it would get dark. Modern Vaurani had an advantage: electric flashlights. When the attack started, some of the uncontacted managed to escape to the forest, but most of them were killed. They tried to fight with spears. 2 attackers were wounded. There was a feeling that bullets didn't hit the uncontacted, so spears had to be used. When it was all over, modern Vaurani saw 2 little girls who were staying near the fire. Nobody knew what to do with them. No hand raised to kill. Somebody decided to take these girls to our tribe in order they cooked as chicha. In such way, they avoided death and got to the contacted tribe. We know further events from the official sources and numerous media publications. Investigation has still been underway up to now. From a legal point of view, it was a massacre. But if you look at it through the prism of Vaurani thinking, they used their traditional right of blood feud. And according to Vaurani logic, the state has no right to judge them. 6 avengers were arrested. The huge difference in the murder of killed, mentioned in media, and obtained directly from the Indians here is explained by the fact that most of the corpses were not found. 2 surviving girls, who were taken away after the attack, were placed under the care of the elders of Vaurani communities. The elder girl Konda lives with the leader of Bamana community, where we went our way.